Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Since they have recently made LR coins a lot more obtainable, mainly through event bosses, and them stating that they are going to make it more easier to obtain for newer and returning players, makes me feel like they're going to be adding more LRs in the future. And with them also saying that they will be increasing the cap, I'm pretty sure they said they will be increasing the cap from 100 to whatever they're going to increase it to, plus there'll be an overflow system, whatever they called it. I don't know what it means, they just called it an overflow system in the patch notes. But what this makes me believe is that A, they're going to be releasing more LRs, and B, collaboration LRs are going to be the new thing. With every collab having a rerun, other than, of course, Stranger Things, I do believe we could start to see LR collaboration characters starting probably the start of next year, being around the start of March, end of April time, which is when we get the first collaboration of the year. Of course, if it's a rerun, I only think we'll see the originals get LRs. I don't think we'll end up seeing the initial rerun characters getting LRs. What I mean by that is with the Slime rerun, we got a new Rimuru and Shuna. I don't think they would be getting LRs, but I do think people like Miller and Benimaru could possibly see an LR. I am going to go for two, even though most likely they'll probably only go for one LR, because if the overflow is being, let's say they increase the limit to 2 LRs, you can, like 200 LR coins you can hold at once, which is 2 LRs. I do believe that they might even slide into LR collaboration characters. So that means that instead of having to buff the old ones again, they can just create 2 LRs, people forget about the others, all good, doesn't really matter, these new characters are buffed, you got 2 new characters from a rerun, and then you'll get the 2 LR characters as well, just sort of give you something to look forward to with the collaboration. So I will be going from release order, which is IP release order. What that means is Slime will be first because Slime was the first collab, so on and so forth. I will not be including reruns in this in terms of I'm not going to go for I'm not going to go halfway through and be like, oh, ReZero rerun. I'm going to go ReZero when it initially dropped, but I'll also include the rerun in there as well with that first IP. So, but first one is Slime. I definitely do see them doing Benimaru. 100% I see them doing Benimaru. Mainly because new season of, Slime. It's coming out next year. Plus, also, this is the first season Benimaru. This isn't like the really broken one, which you see in the movie, or which we'll see in the next season. So I do definitely see him getting an LR. I do think it'd also be very cool as well. The damage dealt increase whenever using a skill is kind of nice. I do believe his kit could be upgraded. This is also nice as well. I do see him definitely getting, with the possibility of getting a half upgraded kit, which is really what he would need. Upgraded kit and the increase of substats. But of course, that's what LR does. LR is the increase of substats, basic stats, and a rework of nearly all skills. Unless you're Margaret, then you get shafted. But Margaret was also an actual usable character before the rerun anyway. I'd also see them doing Millum, because of course this is Season 1 Millum. They might go for Dragon Nova Millum, possibly. Of course, the skills probably won't match up, but they might just go for the skin as Dragon Nova, and then they end up just giving these skills new effects. I do definitely see them upgrading. The substats don't really need that much work. You know, they could upgrade them to sort of like LR Escanor's level, which I don't think is that high in comparison to Melee and New Margaret. I do see them doing that. And then maybe just upgrading these 2 skills as well. This is a debuff skill. I could definitely see them upgrading this. You know, the multiplier, her passive is pretty, like, bland, so to say, like today's comparison. So I do think they could end up, you know, giving her quite a half-decent rework. But of course, this is all just speculation. They might just completely just not add anything. Like, they might not LR them. I would like to see LR collaboration characters, because I do think it would save them. It would save them from having to add a new variant of that character again. For example, you know, instead of making Dragon Nova Millum, they just LR the old Millum, give her the Dragon Nova outfit. Yeah, she doesn't have any of the same abilities. You know, she still has the same abilities, but she doesn't have any of the Dragon Nova abilities. It's fine though, because it's just a new skin. Character looks a little bit better. The character plays a little bit better. That's all that really matters when it comes to just general gameplay. Next is AOT. I do definitely see Red Levi getting one. Of course, I'm talking about like in the distant future when they actually do end up rerunning AOT again. They have quite a bad reputation. So they had the IP in 2021, so they could have done the collaboration from 2021 onwards. and they decided not to, which is kind of a bad thing because it means they could save other ones till super late, like 2 years, and the character's completely outdated. But you know, that's just how it do be sometimes. But I definitely see Levi being able to get an LR, but mainly because it's passive. Once again, it's pretty bland. It is very unique though, especially for his time. I think he's one of the only characters that has this passive. It means he's actually able to crit the uncrittable enemies because he guarantee crits 100% of the time. Of course, they can just upgrade this, give this like Sever or something. You know, this could get buffed, passive could get buffed, Relic isn't too bad, stuff like that. Eren, the only reason I say Eren is because we already have another copy of Eren. I doubt they'd do a Mikasa because Mikasa is PvE only. So I'm saying this Eren, well, what they do, I don't know, just make him better. It's going to be a very hard job for them, but it is possible, and you know, they probably can do it. Next one would be KOF. So Kyo 100%. 100%. If they were to bring Kyo back, they would give him an LR. He's not too bad today, especially with Monspeed's Relic, but I just see him being like a character they would LR just for like the fact that he would be sick. He would just be a really cool LR. You know, debuff meta's back. It would mean there'd be debuffs and goddesses. It'd be okay. Sort of push demons out of the meta a little bit. And also Rugal. Rugal was a menace when he released. Now he has 7% crit chance. So with with SA6 and with his passive maxed, he has 25% crit chance, which is the same as Twigo. So you know, it's very bad. Also, he's got like no crit defense. So if he gets an LR, I would like to see him get an LR because he was a menace at one point. I do believe that he could still be a menace with Pierce because Pierce is a very powerful skill. That's why every single new Festival character has a Pierce skill to a degree, apart from the other ones here and there. But he was a menace back in the day, and I do believe that they could definitely make him as terrifying as he was when he first initially dropped with an LR, which I think would be cool. For ReZero, I went with Rem and Amelia, mainly because they were the two like main like front page characters. We don't have a Subaru. Ram, I don't really see getting an LR. Beatrice doesn't really do much until the second season. Of course, third season's coming out next year sometime. I also do think Rem has the best chance of, if she gets an LR, to survive. She's got a half-decent relic. Her passive isn't that bad. You know, if they buff her substats, you know, give her a little bit better skill. She's got an Amplify skill. You know, just put Amplify and, like, Sever on it, because she's got, like, increased attack-related stats. But even increasing her attack-related stats by 25%, she still struggles to crit, because everything nowadays has, like, infinite, like, crit resistance, and she's only got, like, not much crit chance. Bear in mind, she's got 4 weapons. She has 4 weapons, which is a lot. I definitely could see her getting an LR, though. Mainly for the fans, it'd be mainly like a fan thing they would do. But, oh, you know, Rem is super popular, let's make her LR, boom, lots of money. Because that is what I see them doing. Plus, they might also upgrade her Shatter Ultimate, because Shatter is a horrible skill, absolutely horrendous. And maybe change it to something a little bit more... Not change it, but make it just a little bit more effective. Because that Ultimate is useless, especially when she struggles to crit. You know, it's not the best. I definitely see Rem getting an LR. Amelia, I could see maybe, because there's no debuff immunity in the meta. There is cleanse, but there's no debuff immunity. So I could see definitely if they buffed her substats, buffed her main stats, you know, freeze is completely fine. Maybe upgrade this skill as well. Maybe at level 2, making it attack seal and deplete all gauge at LR, and then her ultimate give her... I don't know, not a bait, not what they've done with LR melee and give her like actually no, that wouldn't be too bad maybe. The all stat boost when she uses Sacred Technique, maybe Sever to sort of make it cool, or some sort of, I don't know, a very unique thing, because LR is meant to be very unique. Her passive wise, maybe a little bit more basic stats, maybe actually defense related stats or damage reduction would do very well for her, because her ability to be hit twice is probably not going to work today, when she has quite low crit resistance and quite low crit defense, and not much resistance in comparison to today's really, really heavy, like, one-shot meta, you know, like the new Liz, the new Queen Liz, basically can one-shot anyone she wants when she reaches max passive, as long as you have a level 2 skill, you've got your Margaret buff, even if you have LR Margaret, it's going to be even worse for your enemies. Got Trist in the back, got a Late in the back, you're going to be hitting really hard anyway. Her Relic isn't too bad. It maybe change something with her passive to make her Relic more useful, maybe with an LR, because... You know, freezing an enemy, you'd have to freeze, then break it. You know, it's not going to be that good, because when you attack an enemy, or maybe make it so that means when she freezes an enemy and she attacks, she does not break the freeze. I think that would be quite unique for her, and it only works for her. You know, give that an LR, because that would actually be quite good. It would make her relic useful instead of it just being, you know, you use a freeze, you break a freeze, then you'd have to then refreeze them again. And freezing the whole team is basically impossible because, well, no one's going to trigger her passive nowadays because she's going to die in like 2 hits from Mael. You know, they've got Margaret for Cleanse, you got DK with Cleanse, you got Pug Melee with Cleanse. There's so many characters with Cleanse that it's kind of painful to run debuffs nowadays. But I do think an LR would definitely suit her. And I think it'd be cool because she is like, I'd say her and Rem fight for the main character. Rem is definitely the one that probably brings in the most cash for the name. And then Amelia, of course, is like pretty much the face of ReZero, sort of. Well, she's basically part of the main storyline. We've got Stranger Things. I'm going to have to put all characters on because I don't know, like half the Stranger Things characters. Maybe Jim, because he is a character that has a very unique passive. I am losing my voice just a tiny bit. Which involves collaboration characters. And I think that would actually be quite cool for them to do, like give him an LR. Because he will eventually get, of course, when they eventually do a rerun. I do think it'll be against their will sort of thing, but they will eventually do a rerun. You know, an LR might actually just suit them, just so they can say, oh, they've been LR, they've got relics, they've had a rerun, they can now just sit out for another 3 years. You know, that wouldn't be too bad. And the next one I do think will be 11, because of course, main character, and it would just make sense if they just did 11. Unfortunately, she isn't the best, I don't actually own her, but, you know, increase the hero's damage target and then be like 40%, and then remaining HP decreased by 10% when using a skill isn't the best, especially when she doesn't have that good lifesteal. You'd have to have really good lifesteal for that to be efficient, and I do think with an LR they could give her the right amount of lifesteal, you know, a half-decent passive that maybe boosts her basic stats for humans, or all stats, or sign on the lines of that to make it so her losing the HP is worth it, because currently it's not worth it, and she's completely useless. But those two things aside, yeah. And now we're getting on to the newer collaborations. We got Shield Hero, which I do think would, of course, be Nalfmi and Raftalia, mainly because they are two very unique characters, but they both do need buffs, as well as they are, like, the two main, like, cover characters for the show, and I do think that would make sense. Also, they are a duo, so it would go hand in hand. You know, you give one, they'll give the other. Also, because both characters, you know, Nalfmi changes a lot throughout every season because he gets some sort of new shield, which is completely strong. And then Raftalia, this is before she becomes the Katana hero. Spoiler alert, she becomes the Katana hero in the other way, Kisner's world. This isn't the Katana hero variant. This is just normal Raftalia, which I do think would be cool if they just, I don't know, gave her a katana. That'd be cool. Just normal Raftalia, it's not even the other one. For Jobless Reincarnated, I do only own all of them but Rudius. I do think Rudius will get LR, of course, main character. Just changed a lot in Season 3. I haven't watched it, but apparently he does change a lot, or Season 2, whatever it is. The newest one that's currently being aired as I'm making this video. Of course, he'll probably end up getting an LR. Maybe make it so he doesn't immediately lose the skill when he plays a single target. Maybe make it so it's sort of like a lid, so when he gets to 5-volt gauge, then he can use it. And maybe make it so it just increases it every time, so like this skill here, you know, for every orb does X% more damage, sort of like what Liz does. Liz's single target does something like that, and I do think it would work actually quite well with Rudius. And when I initially saw Liz's kit, I sort of saw a little bit of Rudius within her because of it. Ghislaine, I just think she'd be very annoying to get an LR, and I think it would actually be pretty funny. The reason I haven't gone with Eris is because, yeah, I know she's like the main sort of female lead character, but she's PvE only, and I doubt they would like make a collaboration LR like PvE only. I don't think that would happen. Ghislaine I do see being an LR mainly because she does actually have quite good CC to this day. She's a very useful character. You know, maybe if they upgraded her passive a little bit, made it so it works everywhere instead. You know, this works with every skill instead of just single targets. Power Strike ultimate. Maybe they wouldn't add too much to that because Power Strike itself as an ultimate is very powerful. Transcendent Barn has it, Terry has it, and of course Ghislaine has it as well. Remove stances, maybe give it like, not Pierce, like Sever or some sort of like increased damage skill, and Pierce they can just give it extra damage to debuffs or extra damage to the marked enemy sort of thing. Sort of like Green Freya's skill. But yeah, I definitely do think that they could definitely LR some of these characters. Yes, of course, you know, it could be maybe end of next year they're not rerunning not Stranger Things, Jobless Reincarnated. Maybe it could be end of next year, which is what I actually see happening. mainly because they've had new seasons. I also see Shield Hero being rerun next year, ReZero, maybe Dribbles Reincarnated, and then Stranger Things as well. But I do think Stranger Things will be sort of like what they did last time, but that's a whole different video for my predictions for next year anyway. And then Overlord, I do see probably Sholtira 9s. Like, Albedo definitely doesn't need an LR. It doesn't matter if it's 2 years from now, she does not need an LR. Ainz definitely, the fact his passive scales so much with his ultimate, it makes him not the best at 6, like not the best at 1/6, but very good at 6/6, and I think that's quite a big no-no nowadays, even though, you know, we have even like Liz is like okay at 1/6, but absolutely busted at 6/6. That is a problem that we do currently have in the game, but I definitely do think an LR could definitely make Ainz quite more terrifying than what he is, maybe make his debuff grey, so that means when the death is applied, you either have to kill Ainz or you die, which I think would be pretty cool. Also make him more threatening and more of a target. The basic stats he does get from his passive is nice, so I don't really think he needs much change in his passive. But of course, if they are going to LR or bring back Overlord, it would be 2 years from now, so I do see the game changing a lot, and maybe they may want to change a few things about that. Sholtir, she probably doesn't need an LR, but I just think it's the most... If they were to do 2, it would definitely have to be Sholtir and Ainz. They wouldn't do Colcutus because, of course, I'm staying by the same rule. They wouldn't do a PvE character. And then Albedo definitely does not need an LR. The ability to one-shot people, the ability to just one-shot PvE, she does not need an LR. But of course, I do believe Sholtir could maybe get so it like doesn't lower her it lowers her defense, but it doesn't lower, I don't know, crit resistance or something. Or like it lowers her defense related stats but gives her damage reduction sort of thing. So I just sort of counteract that, I think would be pretty cool. The attack related stats is fine. But with LRs in general, they did initially say when they first announced LRs, is that LR in one character would affect another as well if they were the same name. Initially, when they LR'd Lostvayne, they didn't affect Ragnarok Lostvayne. We thought, okay, different person, completely understand. One's Ragnarok, one is a Festival. Completely understandable. But then when Green Escanaut came out, I initially thought maybe they would also LR Red Escanaut in the process, because of course, they both share the same outfits, they're both not special characters, and they both came out, you know, roughly the same time. So it would make sense them doing it, but of course they haven't. They may do that in the future, but they haven't done it at the moment. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next one. Goodbye.